Well done, people. This review has taken a very long time to review. The reason for that is mostly because of circumstances, and also that I honestly did not know what to think of it. I'm also is the fact that I tend to not review one first chapter when it's released until I know that a manga is popular. After all, two mangas that I wanted to review, it was in the end cancelled. All to make room for this one, right? However, I'm making exceptions for those that are already from popular authors because then we know that people know of their work a lot more. And yeah, this is the Samurai 8, the Tale of Hachiko. Well, no, that's not his name. The Hachimaru then or something like that. Or either way, it's just called Samurai 8. Let's just say that. The same man that made Naruto is once again making a new manga, although he has promised us that this is not going to be as long as his Naruto manga. And I'm saying promised us because let's just see how much he can keep that promise. Granted, however, he got over his head when it came to Naruto, and he knew how exhausting it was writing that for 15 years or more. So perhaps this time he really does mean it. After all, he don't want to work over himself that much as more anymore. Welcome everyone, this is me, the Angry Anime Fan, and these are my reviews of Samurai 8. A very unique taste on the samurai uh, world. The funny thing is that I'm reading another similar one, this space opera, you can almost call it. Only thing is, it's, well, Edo Japan in space, similar to Naruto was Japan of samurai. This one is in space. Either way, the chapter begins with a mysterious person. I mean, is that even a man? Well, the Naruto creator was known to draw people who was very easily genderly confused in the eyes of other people. Talking to someone about the Pandora's box, something that if opened, it that no that sorry. A great god of war called Akala sealed a way to save all the planets in that box, meaning that if you find 7 keys and open it, you can save the planets. This person is guiding another mysterious person who says that he doesn't feel like samurai, but the master says that you still must, while having a poetic speech while doing it. Then the story switches to a scar-faced samurai, very aching to that scar that Boruto had in the beginning of his one, even though this creator doesn't write that one, talking to someone else. And we see a little bit how the fighting works in this here. I mean, a little bit. It's still confusing, though, but that will be explained later. They both seem to have some kind of animal companion by their side, and cyborg-like companion that can merge part with their skin, and then they can even draw out a blade. The Scarface guy wins, and as he wins, the guy he fights against says that he will give off his first key. And as he reveals that it's inside of himself, because he's not technically human, he is a robot. As the Scarface guy says, Curse is not only knowing the right way we're doing it, dying in a way for me. Either way, but it turns out that all of this is a video game, showing immediately how different Samurai 8 is from Naruto. The guy who is playing it is the main character, a young boy, once again, very obnoxious voicing characters. I mean, if this series ever got an anime, I can already see which kind of voice that character is going to have. And then I'm going to say, oh, please, no, not that kind of voice. For once, do not obey that old traditional shun jump one. But whatever, this boy, Hachimaru as he is called, is in life support. He has skinny arms, skinny body, and needs to be attached to something, otherwise he cannot live. He lives with his dad, who does everything he can in order to, well, find a way to make sure this boy of his can go outside. And Hachimaru has even managed to, well, build dog-like cat thing at himself. But what's comical about Hachimaru is that the fact that, despite the fact that he likes video games and samurais and many different warriors, he also is extremely afraid of needles. I mean, I have to admit that is kind of a nice twist to it all. It creates that scenario of being very different from the Naruto from before, at least. Regardless, he is he is a little bit bratty to his father, but he also realizes that he shouldn't be this bratty. And he also seems to be considered that he just should that he should just die, but at the same time do not want to blame his father. Then we're switching to the time of this planet they're living on, a pretty luxurious one, looking one, where a man who calls himself a samurai, although people call him a warrior, says to another man that he hasn't created enough. So he fetches out a blade through a strange thing and says, "Do ritual suicide if you have what it takes to become a samurai." Elsewhere, Hachimaru's dog brings forth a Daruma looking thing as the samurai warrior guy kills the other one through ritual suicide, saying something that this is not what he expected. Hachimaru, in the meantime, prays to the Dharma, which is noteworthy that he prayed also in the teaser opening before. He said he wanted to be a great warrior, but most of all, he wanted to have friends. So we can all expect he's going to have friends. He prayed to the Dharma that he wants to become a great warrior, a samurai, travel out of space, and let his dad come home safely, showing that while he may be bratty to his dad, he truly do love him. He then hears a voice as a strange cat creature appears before him, or maybe a cat robot. Elsewhere, Hashimaru's dad is being confronted by the samurai when it's revealed that he wanted to buy something from him. But the fact is that this man is an unstable and power-hungry man. He considers himself a samurai, but other people consider him a warrior because he says a human is a warrior, but a samurai is not human. I have a very big feeling that is actually not how it is. But it seems to imply that samurais are a different type of breed, because he actually reveals that he is a cyborg. And he actually explains how these, scenarios work. It's a pretty confusing and yet very easily understood thing. Instead of a spine, their bodies have a memory unit called a key, that every part and every other body part is robotic. Only those compatible with this small star created by the warrior god called the Locker Ball can attain a body, which turns their flesh-like bodies into cybernetic things, and where they will not even die from being cut to pieces. Basically, they're just one human soul inside a body of a cyborg. It's and if you're not, but it turns out that not everyone is compatible with those locker balls, as this guy who did ritual suicide did, because he stabbed himself in the dagger that held this thing, and since it was not compatible, he died. Meaning that samurais consider themselves sometimes higher because they are compatible with the changing, although it's not exactly known if that is the case. So either way, Hachimaru talks to this weird cat who calls himself Dharma. He's also not a alien, so to speak. He's a mechanical cat body and a former human. It seems very similar to this of Kurama, the nine-tailed fox, about a beast, aiding the main character, although this is a little bit different. Hachimaru do not really understand what Dharma is, but he does find out that Dharma is blind, as they have a talk about many different things, about warriors, that you need to have courage and you need to do things like that. And Hachimaru is impressed of one thing or the other and saying that he shouldn't just be doing that and that, as well as saying that he wants to be a samurai, but also knows it's him. Suddenly, he is confronted himself by the samurai, who is actually revealing that He is chasing something that Hachimaru's dad has. As they travel to that place, he tells he confronts Dharma, who managed to fight him, and actually says the same line from a video game. In the video game, the Scarface man says, "I really do hate hiding behind a cat mask. I'm not the type to hide my real nature. Lone wolf samurai." And it turns out that the game that Hachimaru has been playing is something that Dharma created and spread across the galactic net, so he could show the children the true way of becoming a samurai. And he's the eighth person he has met, therefore finding the, well, the title Samurai 8, so to speak, as it shows a projection uh, of a of his dad. He then stabs Dharma after calling himself a warrior, not a samurai, because yes, this is truly not a samurai. This is just a guy whose ego and power has gotten to his head. So he demands to Hachimaru that if he has the key to prove himself or save his dad, then he should commit ritual suicide, because it turns out that what this warrior is after is a certain key that is inside Hachimaru, and that is what allows him to somehow live, because it's borrowed on enemy. But if he stabs himself with this special knife, he will save his dad. And even though he trembles, and even though his father says no, Hachimaru in the end says that I have always loved you, Dad, so I will do this. So he does stabs himself and appears to die as the warrior cruelly take out the power supply and creates a sword out of it. However, then just suddenly the thing that the warrior left behind merges in with the Hachimaru's seemingly dead corpse and merges his soul with a cyborg and frees him from all the sickness and gives him a new body that is not as skinny as before, and now he doesn't even need to rely on his glasses anymore, effectively reviving him, not as a human anymore, but as a full-fledged samurai. As it turns out that even Dharma himself won't die from that. He touches the pet he has that was crushed, and it immediately turns into something bigger. He runs to confront the warrior and defeats him in one or a couple of swings. In a way, one can argue that that well, he is not supposed to have any sword training. How can he have been able to do this? I think that will be explained in a future chapter. But for now, you can also pull the logic that, well, he knows maiden combat. That is all there is to it. He played a video game where he played a samurai. Don't you think he should have really known things there? I know that doesn't make sense, but there are some things in life that are not supposed to make sense, because sense is curses us. Either way, he defeats the guy after some couple of time, as he had turned his sword into things. As the warrior disappears, Dharma says that now you can go out by yourself. And as he goes to his dad and reveals he's alive and hugs him, Dharma talks out to the sky and says to his master that 6 remain, but if with him it won't be impossible because the other 7 candidates died before him. Possibly implying that Samurai 8 title is based upon the fact that there were 8 candidates that Dharma went through, and Hachimaru was the 8th one. Either way, this is this manga. What are my impressions? Well, it's definitely not bad. I can definitely see that. The story felt a little bit more in drawing, with the fact that of you know a samurai-like adventure in space. I have to say I really like that kind of story. And Hachimaru is both a little bit different and the same as Naruto. I mean, he definitely has that high-pitched child voice in anime, unfortunately, but he also is someone who admits his fault. And although Naruto went through character development to admit that and that and that, he at the same time always had a bratty personality. Hachimaru did have a bratty one, but it was also based on the fact of a cynicism that Just didn't feel like he deserved anything. So I feel like I relate a lot more to Hachimaru than I did anything else. He also harnessed more of a samurai's soul than anyone else. Dharma, well, he's a cool looking person. Other than that, there's not much to say about it. But it's a space adventure that may not be so long, maybe just 10 volumes according to the creator. But maybe, yes, maybe, I'll review it and see what's happened. So, what have your thoughts been on the Samurai 8? You can give me your thoughts if you have any.